Good morning, traders, and welcome back to the Trader Bacon Show. I'm your host, Gates Adams. Happy Monday. What a pleasure it is to be here with all of you today. We've got a fun show for you guys today. I hope you guys get a lot from this. Before we get into all of that, we've got some pretty good stuff. I've got to say this, Apex Trader funding at $481 million in the hands of traders. We are on that countdown to $500 billion with the B dollars paid out to traders just like you and me. So hopefully you've gotten your piece of that. If you have not yet, keep at it. There's plenty more to go around. And hopefully this has been somewhat impactful in your journey in continuing to grow and develop as a trader. If it is time for new evaluations, make sure to go to apextraderfunding.com and use promo code Benzinga. This will always get you the best price available at any given time. So if it's time to fill up that arsenal, jump in and get that taken care of. Of course, we will be giving away 3 evaluations over the course of this show. So you'll see the form in the chat here in just a moment. Make sure to fill that out before the end of the show so that you get your shot at one of those 3. Last week's winners, Gavin, Nicholas, and B. Congratulations to you guys. Just like them, that could be your name on screen next week, picking up a free evaluation as well. So good luck on that. I want to let you guys know another episode of the Forge Trader podcast dropped last week. It was a lot of fun with my buddy Taylor. Make sure to check that out. I'm on iTunes and Spotify, plus all the socials. You can see it pretty much anywhere. Give me some feedback. Let me know what you guys think on that as well. We have got a fun and exciting show for you guys today as we bring in Jalen, who is just another continually successful trader. Lots of consistency, lots of great stories. So let's have some fun today and give me a warm welcome for Jalen on today's episode of the Trader Bacon Show. Welcome to the Trader Bacon Show, where we showcase everyday traders that are getting funded, paid, and bringing home the bacon. Are you ready? Because the Trader Bacon Show starts right now. Jalen, good morning. What's going on, buddy?
What's up, man? Thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely a pleasure, man. Thanks for sharing some of your Monday with us. We've got some great people in the chat. John, I see you. Crow, I see you. Katan, I see you guys. Always great to see you guys in here. John, I like bacon in the morning too, especially my Monday morning bacon. Always a lot of fun. So, Jalen, man, how's everything been going?
It's been going pretty good. It was pretty good today. Last week wasn't the best, but
yeah, we were talking a little before the show. Last week was pretty solid for me until Friday. Friday was a rougher one for me, but made back almost as much as I lost on Friday this morning on that long out of London low. A couple weeks ago, I shared with you guys in the audience. I shared with you guys my strategy. Managed to pick up a long at actually pre-market. As it took out London low and rode it all the way up to London high. And I don't know what it's done since then, but I think it cut back quite a bit.
Yeah.
So let's talk about you, Jalen. How long have you actually been trading at this point?
I have been trading with prop firms roughly for 2 years now. Okay. Yeah, I first started out with Forex, and then after everything that happened with MetaTrader and everything like that, I kind of made the switch to futures.
Right.
And,
so. As a lot of people did. So trade wise, now was your strategy able to transition from Forex to futures pretty easily, or did you sort of regroup and start over?
No, it was actually it transitioned pretty well because I really only trade price action.
Okay, so, gotcha. So what you see is what you see. I mean, it's pretty consistent. And we'll get into a lot of the meat and potatoes of what you're looking for in terms of price action and here in just a few minutes. But when you got started, were you doing pretty well in Forex before everything started to fall apart, or was this still part of that learning curve?
So actually, when I first started trading, I started out trading options. So I went through the whole cycle of options.
I love it.
Forex, and now I found futures. So.
Well, we see so much of that, especially people who start off with stocks. Of course, the natural tendency is to jump to options for that leverage, right? Yeah. Then you learn you got to figure out, delta and theta and all the Greeks. And I mean, I don't remember a lot of my option stuff. That was so long ago for me. But, then Forex and futures sort of come in after that just because of the simplicity. I think it's really nice when one tick equals whatever one tick equals. And there's Well, I mean, there's just such a lack of complexity, which just makes it easier to see what it is that you're looking at. Yes, there are some absolute benefits to seeing things the other way. Me, I like not having to think about 10 different things at once.
Yeah, exactly.
So now, did you start off self-funded when you were doing options? I
Yeah,
presume. Yeah.
yeah.
Now,
I
go
would
ahead.
go in to work overtime, go in to work overtime, stack up roughly about a couple thousand,
Right.
and then just put the money on the option play and see if it works out. It was really just, I didn't really take it too serious when I first started out with
Mhm.
trading.
Now, you
But
had some pretty good runs though in the early days, right?
yeah, I did. I ended up making roughly 18,000 on a trade one time before.
One trade, nice.
Yeah, on
That's
one
always a
trade.
good one.
But I didn't really know what I was doing
Mhm.
at first. Like most people, you first start out, you just trading. You're not really
Yeah.
focused on it and stuff like that. So I ended up giving a lot of that money back. So
Yeah, I mean, look, we all go through the cycle. There's just,
yeah.
it's just part of the process for sure. Now, when you had that big run up and you started to see some of that sort of fade, I guess, if you will, um, did that wreck your confidence, or how did you handle that?
It did. It did wreck my confidence, but it showed me that I could make a lot of money. It showed me like what's possible with trading. So it made me want to stick with it versus just being like, yeah, I'm gonna just give up and just go back to a regular job and stuff.
I hear that a lot because as of course, I talk to hundreds of traders, and I've seen this consistently, and I existed in this space as well. Unfortunately, I was never able to take any of it out. But when you see that massive run up in the beginning stages, and we see a lot of this with the crypto babies, as I call them, 20, 21, 22 crypto traders that just made a ton of money real fast, and they thought they were really good, and then all of a sudden the market started to shift, and a long wasn't just necessarily a gimme anymore. And they gave some of that back, but I do think that does do something for that confidence. We can see more or less what that possibility is, and I think that's a big part of it, because you take out that first experience of mine 27 years ago, and I had nothing but disaster, like one account after another. And so it was really hard for me to gain back that confidence that there could be another side of it. So is that really what kind of kept you through the tough times and through the learning curves and all that?
Yeah, really, because I really wanted to focus on like because I always hated working a job. I've never really just liked going to a job knowing that I can just be free and do what I want to do. So seeing that I was able to make this kind of money just pushed me more to
Sure.
just be like, okay, I'm gonna focus on this and I'm gonna make this work.
Was there one moment where you thought about maybe this isn't going to happen?
Yeah. Yeah, a lot, a lot of times. But I always find my way back to it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now, Ned, was this time for you to take a break, or did you just fight through it immediately?
Oh no, I took breaks.
Yeah.
I took breaks.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
sometimes you need a moment away. And Crow, yeah, Darth Gates, thank you for that. I've been having a lot of fun with my background, as you guys can probably tell at this point. Anyway, thanks for that comment there. I love it. So, at what point did you say, okay, this is it? I'm not going to be outwardly focused on anything else. I'm going to put all in on trading. I'm going to figure this out. And from there, how long did it take you to get to the point where you're starting to see some consistency?
I did that when I learned about prop firms. When I learned about prop firms 2 years ago, because what I was doing was I was going in for overtime, trying to stack money, and then I would end up losing it. And I just got tired of doing the cycle.
Sure.
So one day I just prayed to God and asked him to show me the way. And that night I ended up seeing a prop firm on my Instagram. I'm like, and it was just crazy to me. So ever since then, I just locked in on prop firms. And now I've taken out roughly 32,000 since last August.
That's phenomenal. Yeah. I mean, that's for a lot of people a year's worth of income.
Yeah.
Now, are you still working on the side, I presume?
No,
you're all in at this point.
Yeah.
I love it, man. That's a lot of commitment. Does that create a lot of pressure for you, or are you at a point where you're able to manage that pretty well?
It does create pressure, but what I did with the payouts basically is going to pay me what I was making at my old job.
And of course that makes a big difference when you see the replacement. It's okay. Well, this is really possible. Now, when you took that plunge, when now you at some point you did the whole quote unquote fired your boss. Did you notice a difference in your performance as that dynamic changed for you short term, or did you sort of barrel through it?
From leaving my job?
Yeah.
Yeah. I could tell a slight difference at first.
Yeah.
So
But it
now
didn't
it's more
last too
so.
long.
Yeah, it didn't last too long, but it's more so about just refocusing. Like, because the hardest thing about it for me is now that I don't have a job, I have a bunch of time on my hand.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I got to find something to replace trading all day. So I don't want to be thinking about trading 24/7.
So you're not a sit through the charts 8 hours a day kind of
No,
guy.
no.
No. Yeah,
I sit,
probably wise.
yeah, I sit like 2 hours and then I'm done for the day. That's it for me.
There are some days where I wish I could do that. I know we all struggle with, walking away. It's definitely part of the challenge that is just associated with trading in general. But, obviously, as you start to be more reliant, okay, this is my income. This is how I provide for myself. That discipline is a little more forced. And, obviously I still have a million things that I do and I work 8 to 10 hours a day, but most of that isn't trading if I'm doing the right thing. So let's talk a little bit about what's gotten you here. And you talked about the fact that your strategy has been able to transition from, I don't know if it was the same for options, Forex and futures, or has it sort of evolved?
It was the same for Forex and futures. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, cool, man. Crow makes cheddar biscuits as a side hustle. I need to try some cheddar biscuits. So let's talk a little bit about that strategy. Let's see what that looks like in the charts. Let's go ahead and pull that up, and let's talk a little bit about what it is that's been working for you.
Okay, so let me see here. Can you see me?
Yep, we got it.
Okay, so this is the trade that I took this morning. So after everything that happened with the tariffs and everything like that, I switched from NQ to start trading gold because NQ has been moving it's been moving it has a lot of volatility. I'm gonna say that.
I don't know if we've seen a 50.1 minute candle. I'm pretty sure we have. I keep saying that, and I throw that out as almost a hyperbolic, but I think that might actually be. We've seen some of those, but
it's been crazy. Like $100 wick, and it was just a lot for me for how I was trading.
It's pretty nuts. So we transitioned over to gold. Now, are you trading? I'm trying to see your timestamps. It's tiny. So you're trading overnight?
This is the 1 minute, and this was at 9 o'clock.
That is at 9 o'clock. Okay, I thought I was seeing some double digits. Yeah. I guess that's 09.
So basically, what I started to look for was I started to notice my strategy is waiting on time and the volume.
Okay.
So basically, it's about how is the chart moving, how is the actual ticker moving at a certain time. So I noticed that volume come in on gold, it come in at 21, which is 9 o'clock. It come in at 4 o'clock, and it come in at 9 o'clock.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I trade at 9 o'clock because I'm just used to trading NQ. So I'm trading at 9 o'clock now.
So you get to start a little early.
Yeah, a little early. So I like to check to see if there's news coming out, any high impact news. That's like my first step. Check and see if there's any news. If there's no news coming out, okay, then I know I got a free trade. I don't have to wait on the news and react and everything like that. So what I was looking at this morning was I saw that we were struggling to break this 330 level. This level right here. You see, I have nothing on my chart. That's what I mean when I say price action. But I'll put it on the chart for you if I can. Let's see. It was struggling to break this level right here. So when it finally did break this level, it didn't actually continue, like actually push through it. So that gave me the confidence to take the trade to the downside for it to come down to here.
Okay.
To ride it back down to here. So what I was looking for, it couldn't break it. It couldn't break to the upside. So I was able to just ride it to the downside real quick. I wasn't in it for, I think I was in it for roughly 3 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't a very long trade. I'm more so like a scalper. I don't really hold my trades for a long time because what I learned is when I was trading Forex and when I first came to futures is I would be up a lot of money on a single trade, roughly like $600 or $700, but I'll try and hold it all the way to TP, and then it end up reversing back on me and kicking me out of position. So what I started doing was I just started closing my position whole. So whenever it got to a point where I felt like it was gonna reverse or I was up enough that I'm comfortable with taking, I just close it and I just walk away for the day. So I'm only taking one trade a day.
That's it. One trade and you're done.
One trade a day. So I took this one trade. I made like $100 on it, and that was enough, and I just walked away.
Beautiful. Now let's talk about this level that it wouldn't break through. Now, is there any significance to this level other than the fact that you had that recent high? Was there any particular resistance? Oh, there it is.
Yeah, I checked the one. I checked the 1 hour. I checked the 1 hour chart as well. And you look at the 1 hour, you see this is a key level too.
Right. It's obviously been fighting through that level for some time. You have that pivot there. Yeah. All right. So it hits that. Now, are you looking for a specific move? Are you looking for a certain number of ticks or points? I'm not sure how.
I'm looking for between 25 to 50 ticks on gold, which would be with the 50Ks funded would be between 250 to 500 per account.
Okay. Yeah. Now I'm looking at the setup that you had here. Are you setting your stop past that previous wick?
My stop loss, it's a dynamic risk, you can say. So I have an automatic set stop loss of 500. Okay. Right. So my trade was like this. My trade was 29.7, and my stop loss is $5 up. Okay. Which would be $500. And my TP was right here, 24.7. So it was basically a 1-to-1. Okay. But if it breaks this and it looks like it wants to go all the way to my stop loss, I'll just close it. Okay. Yeah. So it's just dynamic risk. That's all.
All right. Now, I mean, you presumably keep some stats. I know you use TradeZella. Yeah. So have you seen sort of what your numbers look like in terms of like you have a certain win percentage or a profit factor that you live on?
Yeah. Can I share that?
Yeah. There you go.
Sure. Yeah. Can you see it?
Yep.
Okay. So this is March when I was just closing my trades as they go, not just holding them, trying to get my full TP. I had 20 accounts at the time, trading them all together. So there's no reason to be greedy in my mind. Right. There wasn't a reason to be greedy because if I make 300, that's 300 times 20. Yeah, I have no reason to this.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's why I really got comfortable with only making $100, $200, because it ends up 2.74 times 20 on the month. Right. So there was no reason to just be greedy. So
that's phenomenal. I mean, those are some significant numbers, right? So so your expectancy is about $70 per trade.
Yeah. As far as this, the win percentage was 68. And this is the all time too. This isn't just March.
Okay. So these are pretty consistent expectations for your strategy at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that, man. And now do you see dips, highs and lows, or does it stay pretty constant?
Yeah. This was a rough day. This was right here.
I'm not going to show you guys mine. You'll see,
this was a rough day. But normally this is when the tariffs happen. Okay. This is around the time when the tariffs and stuff started happening. And I noticed the dip on my performance because when it comes to NQ, I was only using a 50 tick or $50 stop loss.
Okay. Oh yeah.
So I was getting kind of wrecked, because all of the crazy swings and everything like that, it kind of kept hitting my stop loss. So
and of course that's at the end of the day, you have to have enough wisdom in not just your strategy and in the charts and in the markets, but in yourself to realize when it's time to either take a step back or reevaluate. Yeah. Now, I say this with a grain of salt because I know one of the biggest issues that traders face is they'll go through and I'm always real cautious when I do this section talking about different strategies is they'll go, oh man, I had a really bad week. It's time to switch strategies, right? Or it's time to switch from NQ to gold. I'm not saying that there's never a time for that. Obviously there is, right? But you've got to do that with a level of consciousness and awareness of what's really going on. When we're seeing markets move, when we're seeing NASDAQ move the way that we've seen it over the course of the last couple of months, Yeah, I mean, that's a different dynamic that you've got to be able to deal with. I mean, either you size down significantly, or or you make some other pivot.
Yeah.
And now, when you moved from NASDAQ to gold, did you see much of a difference in your results, or did it pretty much pick right back up where you left off?
It was pretty much the same. It was pretty much the same. This is my funded account. These are my funded account stats. But when I switched to gold, I started trading my challenge accounts, and these are my stats for my challenge accounts.
Okay,
it was pretty much the same. But for perspective, these are 300K accounts versus
right. Those numbers shifted pretty significantly.
Yeah, these are 300K accounts versus the 50K account.
All right. So Katana asks,
all of these are gold trades.
All of those are gold trades. Okay, gotcha.
All of these are gold trades.
So Katana asks, Jay, how much time do you spend preparing a trade, and do you ever take a squawk trade or a last minute Momo trade? Those are that's some verbiage that I'm not real familiar with. I don't know if that means anything to you.
No, I don't know exactly what that is.
Not sure what you're talking about, Katana.
But as far as how long I take to prepare for a trade, I come down to the computer at 8:00. So roughly an hour. Okay. I sit here and watch the price action for an hour before I take a trade.
Now, are you looking at multiple time frames? Do you just keep it? Okay, so you're starting to see what price action is doing at various levels and building an expectation.
So I look at the daily to see if we're near any level, then break it down to the 1 hour. I don't use the 4 hour that much. So I go from the daily to the 1 hour to the 15-minute to the 5-minute, but I execute on the 1 minute.
Gotcha. So Katana means, I guess, a last minute trade, not necessarily something that you've prepared for. So like, do you have key levels where this is where you're going to take a trade or you're out?
No.
Okay. So
I used to trade like that, but I used to trade like when you draw a zone, it has to enter the zone in order for you to take the trade. But I stopped doing that. It was more so just by managing my position.
Okay, so what you're looking for is some sort of action at any key level, not necessarily something that you've planned for the day. If it goes here, this is what I'm looking for.
Yeah, basically just come down to the computer. Okay. At 9:00, if it's looking like it's, because like I said, I know at 9:00 volume wants to come in. Right. So when it gets at 9:00 and it looks like it wants to go either direction, either up or down, just be ready to take the trade and just manage your risk.
Right. Gotcha. So at this point, we know that you've quit the job. You're trading, as your profession, as your primary income at this point. What does that look like for you? Now, we talked a little bit about the time. What have you figured out that you can do with that time? Have you developed any sort of new hobbies or activities or anything like that? Or what does that look like for you at this point?
Well, I started going to the gym. Got in the gym. I started doing puzzles too.
Okay. Yeah. I love the gym. I love puzzles, but I love the gym, particularly for traders. I think this is one of the best ways that traders can sort of convince themselves that they have a level of discipline, because much like trading, you can't expect immediate results. So if you can see this logically, and you can start to see, I'm going to say it, gains or whatever the case may be, or some weight loss or whatever it is that you're looking for. I hate to be that guy, but this is where you actually get to convince yourself that you have the level of discipline to stick through something even when it's tough. Like we know, like everybody who works out regularly has been through that period where you haven't worked out in a while and it hurts the next day. And then it hurts even more the day after that. And then you've got to get back into the swing of things. And it's hard to go back to the gym. Yeah. Have you found that any of this translates into the charts for you?
Actually, I played sports when I was younger, so I used to be in the gym a lot back then. Yeah. But I think the puzzle really, really helped me more just because it was a 2,000 piece puzzle. Okay. So all the pieces are like very small, so it's like I gotta focus and just really be patient with it because it take time for the puzzle to come together.
I love that. Now, do you just do the jigsaw puzzles, or do you do any sort of other types of puzzles that just sort of stimulate the brain?
No, it was just a jigsaw puzzle.
Jigsaw puzzles. I love that, man. I'm gonna have to try that. I'll get a little setup.
Yeah. I had a table and I just had like a big 2,000 piece puzzle, and it just takes a lot of time because the biggest thing was just finding something to occupy my mind, so I wouldn't come to the computer eager to take a trade. Like I could still be patient and wait to execute.
Now, have you noticed a difference in stress levels or lifestyle or anything like that since you've sort of taken this shift and moved more into the trading is my living?
I feel more free.
Yeah,
I feel more free really than more stressed out.
yeah.
Just because like what I did was I took my payouts and
Hmm.
I put it on some dividends.
Hmm.
So basically they're paying me what I was making. So
Gotcha.
so I pretty much just living off the dividends now.
Right. Okay. So you've got the payouts. The payouts have turned into dividends. You're still continuing to get more payouts. Is this what you're
Yeah.
doing primarily with all of your payouts, or do you take a certain portion? How do you split that up?
I'm taking my payouts and I'm putting them on the dividends to get a bigger monthly check.
Just buying that income.
Yeah.
Oh, that's smart, man. And that's the thing. I love it when people online say, "Well, if you're such a successful trader," and then people don't tell me that. I've heard people say this to a lot of other people. But if you're such a successful trader, why are you doing this or why are you doing that? And I'm like, dude, one stream of income, like the wealthiest people in the world have multiple streams of income.
Yeah. Yeah.
And,
Exactly.
it's not about, oh,
Exactly.
I'm so good, so this is it. This is it. I'm done. I'm not doing anything else for the rest of my life. I'm just going to do this because I'm good at it, right?
Yeah.
So, you start to build a net worth. You start to build a system that continues to pay you long term. Have you been doing any sort of traveling or do you do anything like that?
I've been. I'm gonna be honest. Since I've gotten the payouts, I've been ready to just go, just go everywhere.
Right.
So the last place I went was on a cruise. I
Okay.
went to the Bahamas.
Nice.
Yeah, I think that was
Yeah.
like 2 months ago.
Okay, cool. My
So
wife
yeah,
and I did a cruise last summer. We're anxious to get on the next one. I love being on the water. That
yeah. My
is
lady
all
been
we
talking
love.
about going on another one ever since.
I think that happens. That's I don't know. I've got the cruise people harassing me about every 30 seconds with a new email or a
Yeah,
text or something like
yeah.
that. They're
Sounds
like,
about
"Oh,
right.
this guy needs to come back."
Yeah,
So, my understanding is that when you get to when you've done enough of them, they basically give them to you for free because they just want you to come on board and spend your money.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
When you play in the casinos and everything, you spend enough
Tina's
money.
definitely
Yeah,
help. That's
yeah.
awesome. I love it, man. So what's next for you, man? Where do you go from here?
Um, I've seen what Apex has done
Mhm,
for some traders. Like I've seen a couple payouts of over 1 million.
mhm.
So my goal is to get an uncapped payout. I'm not
There
gonna
you
say
go.
1 million, but just an uncapped payout, whatever that may be, and
Mhm.
just put that on the dividends and just live off the dividends.
There you go, man. So, at this point, I mean, have you found some really interesting instruments that are paying you consistently enough to replace that job income?
The dividends.
Yeah.
There's a ticker called Yield Max. The
Okay.
company Yield Max. It's a high yield dividend stock.
Okay.
Yeah, they pay out pretty nice.
Nice. I'm gonna have to check that out. Everybody write that down.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
the
they
more
pay
the
out
more of
pretty
us
nice.
go in there, the better they're gonna do, right?
Say it again.
I said the more of us that get in on it, the better they're gonna do,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
You never
yeah,
know.
yeah,
Dude, that's awesome, man. So we're now we're reinvesting, recapitalizing,
yeah,
building an income, continuing to trade, earning more. Now you're pushing from 50Ks up to 300Ks.
yeah.
So I'm starting to see a growth mindset from what it is that you're doing. I mean, is this something that you've always had, or have you built this?
Oh no, for some reason I don't know why, but I've always thought big. I
Yeah.
always thought in terms of big. Like when I said like I always was up 600, but I wanted 1,000. Like I've always just thought like that.
And of course with trading, you've got to find that balance because
Yeah,
if you're completely unsatisfied with a successful trade, and this happens all the time because we never buy at the bottom, we never sell at the top, and so there is always that potential to be to be disappointed because it could have been more. I love the way that you've transitioned your trading from going for that long hit, knowing that for you getting in and out is
yeah,
more beneficial long term. Now, again, I'm not saying that this is the same strategy that everybody should take on, but clearly this is working for you. It's not just working for you, but it's working for you with a level of consistency that has changed you from employee to trader. I'm not going to say professional trader because that has a different connotation, but
yeah,
trading for a living, you know, so I think that's really where all of us have to get to is, okay, I see all of these people talking about this, that, or the other thing. This guy's got the Lambo and the mansion. This guy's got, whatever. Yeah. And so we get attracted to the sort of the picture of success, and we forget that that's not necessarily what we're going for. I don't want a Lambo. That's not. I mean, that's not a goal.
Maybe one day.
Hey, I'm more of a G-Wagon kind of guy, so we'll see when that day comes along. But the point is that when we start to investigate what it is that's going to work for us, it really is a journey of self-discovery, not just learning a new strategy or learning a new entry model or whatever the case may be. So I think that one thing that I see over and over with the traders that are consistently successful, which of course is primarily who I get to talk to, which has just been game busters for me, right, is there's a million different ways to approach this, and you've got to find what it is that fits you. It took me a long time, right? And it took me a lot of adjustments and tweaks and things. And now I feel like I've got something that's finally solid. But now it's time to go from, okay, now I'm feeling comfortable. Now let's clean it up. Let's develop it. Let's grow it. Is this part of your process? Is this something that you've been able to do?
Yeah. I've really been, like you said, I've really been focusing on just not being greedy. That was like my main thing, just not being greedy, focusing on the smaller amounts and really just focusing on the process.
That's perfect. Yeah. Well, and I mean, you look at the numbers speak for themselves. You have found something that works for you, not just in NQ, but NQ and gold, not just on one time frame, not just on, one size, right? Now you have proof that this is scalable, this is adjustable. You can move this from one instrument to another, and you now have a process. Yeah, and this is I'll get to that process
because with me it's all about just managing it versus just because I know over time if I consistently close, because like today, if I held that trade, I could have made $500, but I know that if I come back tomorrow and take the same trade, I might not. Make if it just give me that push that I was looking for at first, then I make that 500 plus the 100 that I made today.
Exactly. And at the end of the day, it's just got to be repeatable. Look, I could sit here and do this all day, and I'm looking at the clock going, we're a little over time. So, man, I appreciate you indulging me. For those of you guys in the chat, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me a little extra. As always, I could absolutely do this for hours, but we can't do that. They haven't given me the green light yet, so we'll hold off on that for now. Okay. Make sure you guys fill out that form. Win one of those free evals. Catan, I don't think I've seen your name in there. I don't know. Maybe I have because you're probably not. It's probably not going to show Catan on there. But make sure you guys get that filled out. We will be giving away 3 for this show. As we do every show, we'll be announcing those next week. We're going to have another fun and exciting show for you guys next week as well. Jalen, thank you for hanging out with me today. I truly appreciate it. Absolutely a pleasure getting to chat with you and getting to know you a little bit better, man.
Good conversation.
Awesome. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Make sure to hit that like, chat. You guys all know what to do. I don't know where you're watching this, but wherever you're watching this, do the stuff that you know you need to do. And make sure to share this with your friends. We need to build up that audience and get a lot more people in that chat as well. Thank you all for all of your time. Jalen, thank you so much. And I'll see all of y'all next week on the next Trader Bacon Show. Thanks for joining the Trader Bacon Show, where we showcase everyday traders that are getting funded, paid, and bringing home the bacon. Make sure to... Can you burpee like me? Post for your channel.